Hello everyone, Marty Morales here, and I'm here with the MASI FAQ Part 2. We're always getting and fielding questions regarding our MASI SI program, our structural integration program, and I thought I'd take some time to answer some of the more common questions that we get in order to make sure that everyone understands what the program is all about. If you haven't checked out the MASI FAQ Part 1, then please go ahead and check out that video. We'll put a link somewhere around here or in the description. So let's go into the FAQ Part 2. One of the frequent questions that we get from a lot of folks out there is, who is this program for? And you know, that's kind of a really big question, but to kind of summarize it and distill it, it's really for the practitioner that is looking to take their practice to a very different level. And what I mean by that is maybe you've been a massage therapist for several years, or maybe you've had an interest in more structural work. Maybe you've been a massage therapist for several years. Maybe you've worked at a spa or had a private practice and you're doing a lot of kind of deep tissue and maybe integrative deep tissue work. But you may have noticed that there might be something missing in your practice. Maybe you're helping clients and they're getting a lot of results and a lot of relief from your work, and congratulations, that's awesome. But maybe you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if there's a different way of doing things. I wonder if there's a different approach to my clients' issues and conditions. Maybe I need to look at a whole picture perspective. Then structural integration might be for you. Maybe you're the practitioner where you've taken a lot of classes out there that kind of promise you the answer, that maybe there are assessment classes or analysis classes out there that tell you this is the algorithm and you need to follow this algorithm. And if you follow that algorithm, you will be successful. But you've done it and you've realized that you haven't been successful all the time, and maybe there's something a little missing in your practice. You might also be thinking, I've got all this information, I've taken all these classes, I've done all this training, but I still don't know where to go first, how to start a session, where is my first approach? If you've got these type of questions, then structural integration could be for you. Structural integration doesn't necessarily guarantee you the answer, but it definitely offers an approach, a very interesting type of bodywork that is really a craft, that is really an art, that blends in philosophy with manual therapy to create a way of working that doesn't necessarily offer the answer. I do want to give a caveat here with regards to who is this program for. And that is that this program and structural integration in general, I'm going to say, really demands a lot with regards to palpation skills and manual therapy skills. It's really kind of a very different world in the way that we work, in the way that we see tissue, in the way that we understand what's happening under our hands. Another question that I've gotten is, Marty, I just finished my massage therapy program. Should I go into a structural integration program? And my short answer is it depends. There have been instances where someone fresh out of school will go into an SI program, but usually what happens is a manual therapist, massage therapist has had a few years of experience, 3-5 years of experience, and then they have the questions, they are questioning. And so they come to SI trying to develop answers to these questions. So what I mean by it depends is that if you're just fresh out of school and you want to start an SI program, you are really still building some of these palpation skills. You're really still building a lot of you're kind of algorithm of what can happen when you're working on someone. So in a sense, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, if not sometimes a lot of a challenge, to beef up those palpation skills. But on the other hand, to play kind of devil's advocate, sometimes people who come fresh out of a massage therapy program or bodywork program and go into an SI program kind of show up with clean slate, and they're very, very open to learning how SI works and how we approach SI with the Morales method. And sometimes folks who have 5, 10, 15 years of experience kind of have to unlearn, relearn a lot of what they thought was their foundational type of techniques and foundational type of thinking in order to do structural integration. So there are kind of pros and cons to starting right out of school or starting, after many, many, many years of experience. So that's why it depends. If you're interested in doing SI and you're somewhere in that spectrum and you're not sure if it's for you, then best thing to do is to contact us. We'll have a conversation. We'll try to glean from you what may be going on. And from that point, we'll tell you that maybe you need some more time out in the field before you come into a type of work like SI. Another common question that I get is, Marty, what's my ROI, right? ROI stands for return on investment. And I know what you mean. And people want to make sure that after putting in all the blood, sweat, and tears, the time, the money, the energy into a program like this, it will reap some type of reward, right? And I understand that. People want to not only love doing what they're doing, but also get paid well and be comfortable doing it. So if we distill that is, Marty, will I make more money after doing this program? And I can tell you, I can't guarantee you that you're going to make a lot more money, can't guarantee a huge increase in income, but I can tell you for sure that people who do this type of work or people who do specialized type of body work can command a higher rate. And that is, from personal experience, what I encountered. By the time when I got out of the Rolf Institute and I was a certified Rolfer back in 2008, I offered this type of specialized body work. I raised my rates and I was able to command a raise in rates. And from that point on, my rates have steadily increased and my clientele volume has not steadily decreased. So in fact, I get more people interested in the work if I end up raising my rate. So it's a little bit of a interesting dynamic. It's not, because it's specialized, it doesn't respond to the normal price elasticity of supply and demand type of thing. So there is that possibility that once you finish a program that you'll be able to command a higher rate. And during the program, I actually take some time to talk about it because I think it is important. And me coming from a business background, I'm very passionate about people understanding the business side of it and being able to have a maximize their return on investment for a program like this. So what I have noticed is people who come out of the MASI program are able to command a higher rate and are able to increase their revenue because of it. Another question we get is, Marty, if I do this type of work, how long would I be able to do this type of work? What happens with this type of work is that you really, really, really learn how to work smarter and not harder. And one of the things that I tell all of my students is that at the time of this filming, I'm 54. I'm looking down the barrel of 55. And I do not have injuries related to my bodywork practice. I don't have wrist injuries, shoulder issues, back issues, hip issues, or anything related to my bodywork practice. What I tell my students is at the end of the day, I'm not physically tired. I'm actually mentally tired from my focus. And that's because I really make it a point to be vigilant about my body mechanics and about how I work the tissue. During a program like this, not only do I work with people within the grand context of structural integration, but I also have my eye keenly observing their body mechanics and offering up suggestions and corrections when necessary. So this type of work is not really meant to be Hulk smash, okay? To put it in a pop culture reference. This type of work is really more, to bring up another reference, is more seeking to be in the direction of Yoda versus Hulk, to blend universes there. I understand that people are concerned. There's a reputation for this type of work to be painful, for the practitioner to be mashing up on people and their clients. That's not actually how it goes. And when you start doing more advanced versions of this work, it really takes on a whole other look. And again, you're not tired physically. You might be tired mentally from the focus that it takes to do this type of work. Another question that goes into an area that I'm also very passionate about is, Marty, how do I market this type of work? And to give you the short, sharp answer is that when we talk about this type of work with our clients, we're not really seeking to educate them on the history, the philosophy, explain to them everything that we're doing, because they might start getting this kind of glazed look from all the information that we have. But instead, what I tell my students is that we really want to let them know what they, the client, can get out of this type of work. So it's not so much describing the work, but explaining to them what's in it for them. And when we talk about that way of describing the work, then it can actually be very, very concise. And if you are thinking about an elevator pitch for structural integration, then I would suggest that you say something like, structural integration aims to address chronic patterns of pain, improve postural patterns, and bring another level of awareness in the body. Let's dive deeper into my previous answer. All of those really get addressed by how we look at the client. And when we address our client, when we see our client from an SI perspective, we are looking at the whole person. We use gait analysis. We use kinesiology, mainly the stages of motor development. We use planes of movement in our way. We look at planes of movement in a slightly different way than regular biomechanics. And then we use a particular way of working the tissue. All of these things are used in order to tailor the work to the client's issue, whether it be a chronic pattern of pain or improving posture, etc. So we use these to tailor the session for our client, and we create a customized series of sessions within our protocol to address these issues. So you may have heard that structural integration is a series of 10 sessions, and we have a protocol or quote-unquote recipe that we use to address a body. But if a person is coming in with, for example, a shoulder issue, we don't just go work on the shoulder as someone who maybe from another modality would have done. Instead, we look at the whole body. And we don't just look at peripheral territories close to the shoulder to address the shoulder. Again, we look at the whole body. And our philosophy is such that we can look at neck, for example, foot, ankle, knee, in such a way that we would work those territories to address the shoulder. How is that possible? Through structural integration, through the way we work, through how we cue for movement with our client, how we see issues in the body during gait assessment, what have you. Through these ways, we're able to address one area by working regional areas. So thank you so much for listening to these really long answers. I try to pack in as much information as possible and really kind of try to address these questions as I would address them during an SI class. If you have any questions still, please feel free to reach out and either I or Caroline Moncure will get back to you and maybe we can have a conversation and see if we can answer your questions to the best of our ability. Also, keep an eye out for our upcoming SI schedule, either through our website or via our newsletter. As we start to roll out the new upcoming SI schedule, we look forward to possibly seeing you there and diving into this wonderful world of structural integration. So, I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you in future workshops.